Hi, bud. You want to be in the video too? Well, we're working with what we've got. Hey guys, I'm Danielle, or Danny for short, and I'm going to start off by apologizing for the background here. I'm kind of left with no choice being stuck in a hotel room, but either way, still going to make this video work. So for today's video, I'm going to be sharing the process that we went through moving from Guam to Virginia and bringing our dog with us. So if you end up finding any of the information I share valuable, then feel free to hit the like button, and yeah, let's get started. So to start, here's just a little bit of background info. My husband Luke is active duty Navy. I'm originally from Guam, and we have a 3-year-old American bully named Max, who is just the biggest sweetheart ever, and he's basically like our own child. Now, normally for military PCS-ing or changing stations, we're required to take the Patriot Express airline to, travel to our next destination. And in doing so, we would also sign up our pet to fly with us. However, due to the pandemic, as most of you know, a lot of procedures and dates had changed. Therefore, by the time we were trying to get Max on the fly list, it was already booked. So enters our option to have to go through a third party, which was Island Pet Movers. So there were 2 parts that were very crucial to us working with Island Pet Movers. The first being the shipping crate that we would have Max in. We had to have an appropriate sized kennel that also came with an attached food and water bowl. We had to have a certain amount of food attached to the kennel. We couldn't have any toys in there. We couldn't have anything that had stuffing, such as like a blanket that had like cotton stuffing. A lot of requirements that, we had to kind of adjust around. And the second being a packet of documents, a number of documents that we had to complete in order to make sure that he would be allowed to fly. Now, was this preparation process easy? Absolutely not. I'm not going to lie and tell you that there weren't any hiccups throughout. But I will say that one thing that definitely helped us was downloading the Island Pet Movers app. We were able to keep in constant communication with a representative assigned to us and basically ask any questions we had concerning like the size of the kennel, all of his flight information, as well as some of the documents we may not have understood. They really helped and explained it to us. So starting off with the kennel, we did have to make sure that he was able to stand upright in it and have enough space above his head. And we did have to show proof of that. So we sent pictures to IPM of him standing, sitting, lying down in it. And then the next step was to make sure that he was comfortable in the kennel. So what we did was we switched out his normal crate that we usually had set up in our living room, and we put the crate that he would be flying in. So that way it would feel normal. He would be, it wouldn't be, something foreign to him. From there, then it was about getting all the required documents done. And this one was a little bit more difficult because some were time sensitive. So for example, they couldn't have their rabies shot within 30 days of their flight. However, they needed to get a health certificate within so many days of the flight and have it endorsed by Department of Agriculture within so many days of the flight. So that one made it a little bit more difficult for us, especially because we're both huge planners, and would we have liked to have gotten this done way ahead of time? Of course, but this was the only option we had. And on the topic of time sensitivity, we couldn't even get him to fly out on the same day that we were, because the Patriot Express only flies out on Sundays and Island Pet Movers only flies out on Wednesdays. On top of that, Island Pet Movers couldn't fly Max directly to Virginia. The furthest they could bring him was to New York. So that meant us having to leave ahead of time and wait in New York for him to arrive, and then all of us going down to Virginia together. So to make this work, one of the options would have been to put Max in a boarding facility while we got things moved out of the house. But thankfully, we had our good friend Hoyt, who was more than willing to take Max in, which was nice because then he was with somebody he already knew. He already plays with his dogs. So that was kind of like a doggy sleepover for Max. From there, we got everything in the house packed up to be shipped out. And then all that was left to do was to take Max to the vet to get his health certificate and his rabies certificate, drop those off at the Department of Agriculture, get our COVID tests, and ship out our cars. We flew out on the Patriot Express on a Sunday, very, very early morning, like 1 or 2 in the morning. And our route was basically from Guam to Anchorage for a refuel, then to Seattle, where we had a pretty long layover before we could take our next flight. So right now we are in the Seattle airport, but none of the airlines check-ins are open till as early as 4 in the morning, and it's only about midnight, so we have to kind of just wait until then, and once we get our baggage checked in, then we'll be on our way to North Carolina. The CDC guidelines for New York basically required us to quarantine in our hotel for 3 days, and that's basically what we did. We just picked up a few groceries that we knew would hold us over for the 3 days and just holed ourselves up in there. During this quarantine period, I spent most of my time just kind of locked onto my laptop and doing a lot of video editing, specifically this video. So if you want to check that out, then you can, I'll leave the link in the description below. And of course, we just kind of kept in tune with all the updates on Max. His itinerary basically involved going from Guam to Honolulu, kind of doing like an overnight stay there, and then going from Honolulu to New York. But either way, it was really nice to be able to kind of just jump onto the Island Pet Movers app, and then they would be sending us like photos and videos of him, so we were able to see that he was okay. And then it was finally time to pick him up from the airport, and I'm not gonna lie, I had a lot of worried mom moments where I was like, oh my god, I hope he doesn't think that we like left him or abandoned him, and like please don't think that. The first thing we did that morning was go and pick up a rental car at the JFK airport terminal, and then we headed to the Hawaiian Airlines cargo hold where we would be picking him up. We were both so excited to finally see him, but I felt bad because when he initially, saw us, he looked kind of scared, and I think it's just because he had been, like moved here and moved there and, just encountering total strangers, and finally seeing us, he was like, I'm not sure what to feel about this. Oh my goodness! I'm so scared. Oh, goodness. But you could tell once he like heard our voices and smelled us, then he knew. It was like, it's mom and dad, yay! Reunited and it feels so good. He's still like trying to figure out what's going on. And then from there, the three of us hopped into the car and made our way onto our 6.5-hour road trip from New York all the way down to Virginia. He slowly moved his way up. So that brings us to where we are now. We're currently staying at an extended stay here in Virginia Beach. It's really nice. It's a decent sized room. We also have like a good kitchen setup, like full size fridge and freezer, stovetop, so we're able to cook some meals here. And there's also a nice like trail outside and a big open field area where Max likes to play around every now and then. And we are just going to be here in the meantime while we're finishing up the process of closing on our house and slowly but surely moving in. So if you found the information in this video helpful or valuable in some way, then please give it a like. And if you want to follow along with us as we explore around Virginia, as well as other adventures we may take on, then feel free to subscribe to the channel. So we'll see you in the next video. Bye!